Boys, how are you?
Terrific.
I am fantastic. Dee, how are you?
Yes.
We're gonna talk about that reaction here in a little bit. But anyways, here's my question. Why the hell is Michael Strahan going to space? This has been promoted all week long, actually for the last 2 weeks, but like this week it's obnoxious because Michael Strahan every morning on Good Morning America, when I'm sitting there drinking my coffee and watching my son run around, they're calling him an astronaut.
No.
Legit. They're calling him an astronaut. Him and all these other rich people that are just going to space. They're calling them astronauts. But anyways, why the hell is Michael Strahan going to space?
Because we need a reason to pay attention to these other rich people. I don't know. It increases the risk factor, the visibility. They're not astronauts, by the way. When you're just like on that cusp of Earth and you're just poking your nose into quote unquote space and may not even quite reach that level. Some do, some don't. Not an astronaut. Not happening. I don't know. It's actually makes me mad. As a space lover, I'm mad.
Yeah, Dan, you would be like first in line for this. I think for me, the novelty of space is starting to wear off. I'm sorry, but like it used to be, there are these 12 people in the United States that have ever been to space, and now we're sending morning show hosts there. Like, come on. No, the novelty is starting to wear off for me, and yeah, I don't like. What's the is this part of a larger marketing campaign? Is it for a cause, or did somebody just choose him?
Yeah, they just chose him. That's all this is. There's nothing about this that has to do with the greater good. None of it.
Of course not.
None of it. And it really makes me mad now because after watching this week of them, and he's going to space, when you're listening to this, Michael Strahan may be in space. But like, I just wish they would just say that to us, like Jeff Bezos and all these rich people who have all this money and they don't know what to do with it, so they're going to space. I wish they would just say, hey man, I'm rich, I'm going to space. But they keep saying it's like for, it's for technology and it's for this, and we're going to discover all these things. And I'm like, no, you're not. Because Michael Strahan's going.
Maybe Michael Strahan is just trying to get as far away from Terry Bradshaw as he possibly can. Because like, I don't know
season.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched their broadcast this year, but like all of a sudden Michael Strahan is not on the set this year. He's doing it from his own house because I don't know why, but now apparently that's not far away enough. He has to leave the earth so that they won't make him talk to Terry Bradshaw on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Which two would you rather have on a rocket and never come back? Which of the two?
It would actually be Terry Bradshaw.
Right. Yeah, it actually probably would, but
pick the wrong guy.
This is like commercialized space flight. As much as it's like exciting for somebody like me, it's like, oh, we're not even that far into it, right? Like 2 years ago, it was just the idea, and now it's like happening, but now it's happening to a point where it's almost too much. It's too annoying. We don't need Michael Strahan up there, and we don't need to have all this coverage for it. Like the inspiration for Rocket, if you remember that, there was a Super Bowl commercial. There's a wonderful series on short series on Netflix about it. That had good reasons. There were good reasons for those people. It was for the greater good. There was a good cause behind all of that. I encourage you to watch it. That was the right idea. This is just like, yeah, I want to. Why are you going? Because he wants to. That's your answer.
Dude, and listening to these people talk about the training they went through. There is a kid who's like 20 years old on that flight. I just want to talk to an astronaut. That's all I want to do. Talk to an astronaut, a real astronaut. Say, how do you feel about people going on TV saying, the training was intense?
You don't train to be an astronaut in months, by the way. That's the first thing. You can't. You simply can't. We need another name for what that person, like, Space visitor. We need another name.
He has to sign the I am a guest sheet, right?
Yes.
Before he
Yeah.
enters.
Did you sign
tag.
in when because you don't have a pass. Yeah, you have to sign in. Visitor. Yeah, these aren't astronauts. These are space visitors.
Well, welcome to Sports Brunch, ladies and gentlemen. It is the last sports brunch of the year. Yeah, shed a tear out for that one. But we got a lot to get to today because my two friends are very happy that Pitt is the ACC champion. And we're going to be talking about the controversial thing that happened in that game that is really affecting the sports nation. We're going to talk about that. The projected, what would look like if there were a 12-team college football playoff. We're going to talk sports movies. We got to pick. Is it pick 2? Is it pick 3? What are we doing?
3.
Pick 1? Pick 3. We got to pick 3 sports movies. And also we're going to talk about whether that you are willing to sit at a sports event for, and which sporting event are you willing to break that rule for, and of course what we're listening to and Brews Day and all that good stuff. But before we get to that, Dan, please tell them where they can find the Brunch Breakdown and what's coming up on the Brunch Breakdown.
Yes, good people. You can find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere that you find podcasts. That's including your major players, right? Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. New episodes come your way every Thursday. And like we said last week, we know that the majority of our listeners like to listen between the hours of 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. So makes it even more important to hit subscribe and hit follow. That way those episodes are ready for you at 5 a.m. whenever you decide you want to be listening each and every Thursday. Full video episodes also available every Thursday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Those premiere live on our YouTube and our Facebook pages, both at the same time, and are available on demand anytime you want to watch and listen. Of course, we're also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Triller, TikTok, at Brunch Breakdown, Sounds of Brunch, new one every Friday on Spotify. Just search for Sounds of Brunch. And as you mentioned there, Didi, we've got a very, very special episode of the Brunch Breakdown coming your way next week. The return of the Brunchies. The Brunchies make their triumphant return as we recap what 2021 was, with all the great categories and nominations rolling in. If there's any specific category or word you want us to give out, hit us up at Brunch Breakdown. We can't wait.
Can't wait for the Brunchies. I can't wait. What category are you guys most excited for? I don't know.
Ooh.
Conference champion of the year.
Jesus Christ.
I think moment. We usually do like a moment of the year. I think that's going to be the most unique and difficult one to try to pick, of all the moments, of all like the stories and everything that we went over to try to capture a moment, because the betting odds for person of the year, there's a heavy favorite. You're not making much money. We're not going to say who it is, but I think we've discussed it internally who we believe person of the year will go to. So I'm excited.
I'm hyped. Can't wait. Well, Chris, let's get Brews Day started here, man. What are you sipping on this week, sir?
This is tying in with Sports Brunch this week, boys, because way back in September, Pitt lost a very embarrassing game to a MAC team, a directional MAC team called Western Michigan. And at that point, I decided I got to switch something up because obviously it's my superstitions that are going to make or break this season. And so what I started to do was, the night before each game, I would have one of these. This is from Voodoo Brewing. It is their non-trademark infringement alma mater IPA. And the reason it's called this, it's actually kind of a funny story. There are Pitt alums that work at Voodoo Brewing, and they decided to make an H2P IPA. They did not know when they made H2P IPA that H2P was trademarked. So they had to change the name of the beer. And so they fittingly called it the non-trademark infringement alma mater IPA. And they went like super generic with the can art. And it says like sports ball. I hope everyone has fun. Like they really took the non-trademark infringement thing as far as they could. And it's very funny. But it's a good IPA. It has It's kind of like mildly bitter, but you're going to get a little bit of fruit with this one. Once I started drinking this the night before each game, Pitt finished the season. Let's see, they're 11-2 now. So they finished the season 8-1 with me drinking this the night before the game. So it was a good superstition. I had just enough for the season, and I'm enjoying this one with you boys today during Sports Brunch.
I'm going to puke during this episode. Like, I'm already there. Like, I'm really close. I feel like I should have sat this one out. Like, I should have just...
It was your idea to do Sports Brunch this week. I would say that. It was your recommendation.
Yeah.
I didn't think this through.
No,
and
you
guys show up with the same shirts, and it's just, yeah, a lot going on. Anyways, guys, got a brew here from Crown and Hops Brewing Company in Los Angeles. This is their Freestyle versus IPA. All right, so here's an interesting fun fact about breweries in the United States. There are only 1% of all breweries, 800, over 8,500 breweries in the United States. Only 1% of them are owned by any person of color. So wow. This is Crown and Hops. This is a Black-owned brewery in LA, and I am giving them a huge shout out because I need to find this beer that everyone talks about. It's called the Dopest IPA. Literally called the Dopest IPA, and I cannot find it anywhere. I even emailed them to find out where I can find it, and they sent me a bunch of places that had it. They're like, it's really popular, and they all told me they don't have it. So, anyways, here
we go, live. I love the live taste test.
This is great. This is so much better than last week. I'm so happy. This is so much better than last week. Oh my God. So much better. But yeah, check out this crown art. This can art. Pretty great. Got the crown on it.
I love it.
Pretty great. Yeah, this is awesome. It's West Coast IPA. It says with the East Coast juicy backbone. And it says on the can, there's nothing more dope than hearing an artist freestyle. And it's in these spontaneous moments that they made this beer. So I'm just really excited about it. So check it out. Crown and Hops freestyle verses if you can. Pretty sweet.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And ironically enough, that's so weird that you chose that beer for today, because the beer I have for today is in the same category. It's a collaboration that was done at a beer fest that's held in Pittsburgh every year that brings together the most of the nation's Black, minority, people of color owned breweries, and pairs them with because there's a number of breweries there that are smaller, right? So they collaborate and they pair them up with another brewery, and they bring these collaboration beers. This is one from that festival from this year. Completely honest with you, it's the best beer festival on the planet, period. And I've been to a lot, and it's the best. It truly is, each and every year. It used to be known as Fresh Fest. The owners kind of the founders kind of went their separate ways, and it's now called Barrel and Flow Fest. And this is one of those beers through one of those collaborations. The Pittsburgh owned brewery is Abjuration, and this beer is called Sweet Delight. And it is an ale with peanut butter, honey, vanilla, and milk sugar. And I will tell you what, amazing can art, by the way, amazing can art. And it's an ale. Keeping that in mind, it sounds like it could be a stout, right? But this is an ale, and it is damn good. Damn good. So good. And it's another reason as to why this beer fest is my favorite one to go to each and every year. These people do not mess around at this beer fest. This is such a unique brew, because it's called Sweet Delight, but it's not overly sweet. You get the peanut butter, you get plenty of that. You get this balance with this sweet touch of honey, but the vanilla and the milk sugar also kind of help balance it and make it smooth and very drinkable, just like an ale. Again, if you could put these ingredients and call it and probably create a stout and be just as good. but the fact that it's an ale makes it that unique. And it's one of the best beers I've had all year long, no doubt about it. And that's why I love these breweries, this beer fest. The idea is fantastic. There are people that come from all over the nation. It was rated the #1 beer fest in the country by USA Today. So no joke, check out Barrel and Flow Fest if you can next year. And the sweet delight is what I'm enjoying here today.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Barrel and Flow Fest is much better than Fresh Fest, by the way. That's a much better name.
Yes. Even though the reason wasn't good why they had to change the names with the founders kind of not quite getting along anymore, I think it ended up being a positive change in terms of the name for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I have a question in Brews Day to guys. As we drink these. Cheers, by the way. Cheers. Brews Day.
Cheers, indeed.
I have a question here, guys. So it has been a huge month for me, and I guess this will kind of go into like I might get it off my chest, anyways. So it's been a crazy month for boxing, like last couple months, right? I'm a huge boxing fan, and because of events being like pushed back because of like positive COVID tests and stuff like that, like some fights that were supposed to be in the summer all of a sudden made this jam-packed fall of huge boxing matches that we've seen. Just Canelo, Tyson Fury, Devin Haney, a bunch of people that maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't. And some of the fights of the year have ended up happening. And I love boxing so much that I have to get ready for every single fight. And it's Wingstop and it's beer for me every single time, because there's nothing in the world better to me than a huge boxing match. There's just nothing better than that, right? It's 48 minutes, you're focused, and that's it. And it's amazing. And I was wondering for you guys, what's the event when you're at home, specifically at home? And what is the beer and the food, the perfect beer and food pairing for you guys when you guys are watching, when you're getting ready to watch an event, one you've just been waiting all week or all month for? What is it?
I could have bet every dollar I have that yours was Wingstop. I almost grabbed the whiteboard, but you said it so quickly. I was going to pull up that prediction.
I knew you guys knew mine. That's why this is a question for you guys. I knew you guys knew mine. I was just like, let me get this out of the way. I knew you guys knew mine as soon as as soon as I brought this up. But I was wondering, like, what is yours?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It really is. For me, it's important to have the balance, right? It needs to be it's beer. It's no doubt it's beer for me, but it's got to be a good drinkable beer. The sweet delight that I had just told you about is wonderful. That's not what I want to be having when I'm doing food and beer for a big event. Marshmallow beers, sour beers, those don't fit the bill. Give me a 6-pack of Pacifico. Go back to Old Faithful. You can't go wrong there. Or give me a hazy or a juicy IPA, right? One that's not just going to make me pound with a lot of dry. I need that balance to keep it smooth. Hazy, juicy IPA. Good drinkable beer there too. Nothing with any adjuncts, anything too crazy. Needs to be clean. In terms of food, I thought a lot about this one. This one's difficult. You go with easy answers. Is it pizzas? No. I'm going meatballs. Give me any kind. Barbecue, Italian, Thai, meatballs, sweet and sour, whatever it is. Give me a crock pot. Important crock pot, because we are at home. Crock pot full of meatballs. Keep that son bitch on warm, because this is going to be a 3-4 hour event, and I'm going to keep coming back to the pot. And I want those to be warm, stay warm throughout. You can give me a toothpick, or you can give me a meatball hoagie bun, and I'm going to be good either way. So popping those meatballs, Pacifico, IPA. What a night. What a night. What a night. What a life.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I wasn't ready for that. I love it. Give me a toothpick.
Very specific. I'm sorry. DD's like wings and beer. And I'm like, well, it's a specific type of meatball. You got to use 80-20 ground beef. It's got to be in the slow cooker.
Well, I should have been more specific. It's definitely an IPA though. And I ripped the beer last week, but when I had it with wings though, it was so much better. There's something about an IPA and hot wings that just, the flavors just work with each other. And it's
true.
It's perfect.
Love that.
Chris, what you got?
Yeah, I kind of went, two things kept popping into my mind with this one. One was burger and a lager. Those seem to go together to me. And I think part of why they seem to go together to me is because I would have those if I was at a game. So if I'm home watching a game, it would be kind of like that at the game experience of having those two things together. Lagers are, I think Dan might've mentioned it, that's kind of falls into the types of beers that are easier to put down and you're not going to forget everything that you just watched the next day. Like you can put a few of them down comfortably. They're easy to drink while you're eating, which you can't say that about all the other beers that are out there. The other one was in neither of these instances did I think I would be preparing the food. So I would be ordering food. I would not be making the food. So I would order a burger from Burgatory or something like that. And then I thought about
place to order a burger from.
Right. Yeah.
Then
I also thought about I just love Mexican food, and Mexican food, like a burrito and a nice smooth IPA. I'm not trying to go bitter because again, that's not going to fit very well, but give me something tropical with some Mexican food. Does not apply to the sport. Would be football. Obviously does not apply to the sport at all. But that's kind of in my wheelhouse too, because if I'm sitting back and enjoying a football game for the night, I'm getting on the couch, I'm not getting off. Okay. That's where I am the rest of the night. I'm watching that football game. And you can ask my wife, that has happened a lot this fall. So, a burrito kind of nestles you into the couch to just not do anything other than channel surf, watch different football games, sip on some type of, tropical fruity IPA. Sounds like a good time.
Beautiful. I like it. Well, yeah, guys, I just had to ask you that question. I had to get that question off my chest there. And I just want to give one last shout out and get off my chest too. The idiots who run boxing, you guys got very lucky because you guys would never have done this. You would have never made boxing fans this happy by having all these fights happen when they should, and it would just never happen. So I'm looking forward to 2022 and just being annoyed again. So shouts to all of you guys. Get that off my chest.
Good point.
Go for it, boys.
Dan, you go first. I feel like I've gone first the last couple of weeks.
Sure thing. I'll go first this week because I'm gonna take a side street here. This isn't gonna be sports related. I'm gonna go side street. I'm gonna talk life skills here today, boys. Life skills, right? It's been a little while since we've talked life skills, home ownership, those type of things. A little different, but in the same category. Okay. Everyone, and I do mean mostly everyone should learn and know how to change a flat tire. Okay. It's a basic skill. Okay. AAA is great. Calling your brother, your dad, or your boyfriend or your neighbor is great. But when you really do it, it's really not that difficult. This comes up because recently I had to change a flat tire again in my fiance Shannon's car, and probably the fourth or fifth time I've ever had to do this. And luckily I know how to do it. We get it done. We make it happen. We do it quickly. I learned it back in high school. Chris, I remember we got a flat tire one time. We had to call, your dad was right down the street. Right. We made that turn. That was I think the first time I had to witness it. And then I just learned from there because it was kind of we were hopeless. And flat tire is an easy thing. People have it happen all the time. It might sound dangerous to change a flat tire, but it's not like jumping a car. I'm not saying everybody should learn how to jump a car because that could be pretty scary as well. But if you learn, it's pretty simple. Proper steps. You do need a little bit of elbow grease, which is why I said mostly everyone. You have to tighten that sumbitch back up on there, or that tire's flying off. So, but I think most people can handle that, and it's important life skill. I'm sure as we move into time, it's going to be very easy for Gen Z to just pull up an app and have somebody there in minutes to change their tire for them. But let's hold on to some of these simple life skills so that we can pass these down to our children in generations and generations. So we're not paying somebody to do something that we can all really do. So take the chance, learn how to change a flat tire, and it'll pay off one day. It will.
I think you came up with a great app idea, Dan.
I just contradicted myself by creating that app.
I think we might need to talk about that off air.
Right.
Well, so it's not, you're right. It's not hard to change a tire. It's surprising, like, to use a jack, how actually easily with your own arms you can lift a car off the ground.
Yes, right.
Which I remember the first time I did that was like because my dad had me and my sister practice it in our backyard, when we started driving, or backyard in the driveway. And I remember being amazed. I was like, I'm lifting a car off the ground. It was amazing. The one thing I will say is, so I had flat tires all the time when I lived in Oakland here in Pittsburgh, is because there was just shit all over the street, and I had to parallel park on the street. And so I would always be parking on nails, and I would change the tire there. And that was easy. The one place I would probably call AAA is if I'm on like the interstate. If I'm on the highway, I'm not messing with, doing it while 70-mile-per-hour cars are flying by me. That's not going to happen. That's when I call AAA and say, all right, boys, this is why I'm a member. Help me out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Especially if you're driver's side, right?
Yeah.
Like, forget it. No way, no how. But we're coming up on Christmas time and things like that too. The Christmas Story, one of the most famous Christmas movies of all time. The "Oh fudge" moment that doesn't exist if he doesn't know how to change that flat tire.
If he had our app, that would have never happened.
It would have never happened. So I think that's why it's important.
Guys, knowing how to change a flat is very important skill. Teaching that to your kids when they start driving or before they go to college or whatever is very, very important. Like, trust me, I agree with you on that. But
here it is.
The time that it takes you to change a flat tire, AAA could be there, and then they show up with their huge jack, 3 pumps, and then they're like, it's done. It's done. And you're sweating. You're like, ugh, ugh. I remember one time I had to like stand on the freaking thing to get the freaking bolts off my tire. Like, I had to jump on it to get them off. Like, having AAA is great. Knowing how to change your flat is a good skill to have, because if you're not on the highway in traffic, but if it's just rush hour time and it's going to take AAA a billion hours to get there, it's good to know that. It's good to know that. But like in any other regular ass time, guys, call AAA. They come and do it in 2 seconds. They just make you look really stupid for even thinking about it when they come. So yeah. And also AAA has an app, guys, and you do it very fast and it's done. Yeah.
But everybody should learn still.
But I hear you. Yes, everyone should learn, but like you should also know to call AAA pretty quick.
That's a game changer. The last time I tried calling AAA was like several cars ago at this point, and they couldn't find me. And now I'm just thinking, like, I ended up leaving my car on the side of the highway overnight because they couldn't find my car. And now I'm thinking, if I just had a phone, they could just, I could drop a pin and they would know exactly how to get to me. That's unbelievable. That never clicked with me until you just said that.
Oh yeah.
And you can trace them too, right? You can trace when they're on their way to you.
That's
so
a game
how
changer.
long it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it'd always be quick, but you can at least know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where the AAA is coming from now too. It's like they tell you. It's like they send a text message to your phone. It's just like this AAA, it's coming from Sal's blah 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 on Banksville. Like it just tells you where it's coming from, and you're just like, all right, it'll be here in 5 minutes. Okay. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, forget this. This is going the wrong way.
So call AAA. That's what Dan was saying. Okay.
There you go.
Basically, that's what it comes down to. Don't download the AAA app. Use code Brunch Breakdown.
That's it.
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. But I do think it's a good skill. You are right on half of what you said.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Chris, get it off your chest.
Cool. I don't really have like a point to make with my segment here today.
That's what this podcast is all about, baby.
Why we're here.
But I just wanted to share my experience of being at a conference championship game that my team won. And I'm not going to drag on too long here. I'm going to focus in on one sequence of events. Okay. Because, my wife has wanted me, I think, secretly to like, she's wanted to see me cry for happy things like many times. She's wanted me, she was like, I feel like really anticipating me crying at our wedding. Didn't happen. Anticipating me crying when our daughter was born. That didn't happen. Because like the things, those big life moments were largely within our own control. You know what I mean? Like we were already engaged. We set a date for like, I was relatively confident she wasn't going to get on the altar and say no. So like that was within my control. Knew it was going to happen. And then like we knew the baby was going to come. We knew the baby was healthy. The baby was born. Like we expected that to happen. I don't know. I always told myself that one day my football team, Pitt, was gonna like win a conference championship. One day they were going to get to the point as a program where like that was going to happen. I don't know that having now seen it happen, I don't know that like, despite me telling myself that for so many years, I think I actually didn't believe what I was telling myself, because there was a 3-play sequence in this game. Pitt was up 10 points. We got a 75-yard interception down to like the 3-yard line and scored, went up 17. The next offensive play Wake Forest had, they threw a pick 6 and we went up 24 points and I started bawling. Like, just like, I'm 34 years old. I have never seen my football team win anything of consequence. And it just all came out. It all came out. And like I said, I don't know that I have a point here, but it was one of the coolest moments of my entire life. And like, there were multiple other people just by looking around, because I stood up on my chair and kind of injured myself, but I saw like multiple other people having the same exact moment that I was having. So it was a great time. It's something that I always had hoped would happen. And I'm going to have a very, very fun, 8 or 9 months enjoying this until football season starts again. And I know, Didi, you don't want me to cry for football. I don't care. I don't care. The reason, if I cared, I wouldn't have shared that on the podcast, Didi. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't.
I cried at your wedding.
There you go.
That is true, actually. Yeah.
I was just going to ask Didi, what was Chris ran off through the most, happy moments of his life and no tears, but Didi, I feel like you might have a time or two, right?
All of them. Surprisingly not when my kids were born. There's too much going on. Like I didn't have time. I don't know. I legitimately didn't have time to cry. There was like, what are you doing? Yeah, but I'm a crier though. And I say that on this podcast all the time. Like I cry. I that's just me. I cry for everything. But yeah, I don't know. How did Katie feel about you crying for that? Not anything else.
Right. He had a great line. She like the game started at after 8:00, and that you guys know is like basically her bedtime. So she already told me, she's like, I'm not going to watch the game. But apparently like our daughter had woken up around 11. And so Katie actually like checked the score and saw that it was close. And then like 15 minutes later checked and saw that we were up huge. And she texted me, I texted her back and said, I'm bawling. And she had this great line. She said, you're not bawling, you're hailing for Hail to Pitt. And I was like, damn, I married the right woman. Let's go.
It's like she knew it was coming. It's like she had that planned all along.
Oh yeah. It was great. So she supported it. I think she's like, after our daughter was born and I didn't cry, I think she's given up on the whole like Chris showing emotion thing. I was happy.
She was just happy that it's possible. She didn't really care how at that point.
Yeah,
she was
she's
just
like
glad it was possible.
That's right. The ACC championship
confirmed.
game showed her that I'm not full on Grinch. Like I have a heart.
Congrats, guys. I'm so close to puking. I want to leave now.
It was an emotional night. I will tell you, you guys will be there by my side. I am going to be a mess at my wedding. So I am already, those are pre-registered tears already for that day, for that moment. And I'm going to need both y'all hankies. So just be ready.
Yeah. I mean, I cried a ton at my wedding. So I can't say anything about crying. I cry a lot. So yeah, that's it's part of the brand. All right. Well, since we just went on this long Pitt situation, let's keep talking about Pitt.
Let's keep sliding into it.
Let's slide into the main course. Fake slide. Kenny Pickett, Heisman. He's not gonna win it. Hopeful. Let's finalist. There you go. We'll go with that. He scored the opening touchdown of the game on a ridiculous run that he fake slid, shocked the defense, shocked everybody, and scored. I thought it was dope. Chris, you were there. So did you even know that he did that? Did you know? Did you see? You noticed it?
Yeah, we were pretty close to the field, but we were like on the side of the field that he was running away from. So he was running to the end zone that was far from us. But like as he was running, we were seeing his back, and you see him like start to go down a little bit, and we were all like, okay, so he's sliding, which would have been a great play. Would have been like a 30-yard run. But we see him go down and then pop right back up and come around to the right and go in, and like everybody lost their minds. I think everybody, it was cool because I mean, I guess when something like that happens, you may not notice it and like need TV to tell you that it happened. But I felt like everybody in the stadium saw that and was like, holy shit, like that. You don't see that every day.
No, it was absolutely incredible. And people are still talking about it, right? Kenny was being interviewed today at a national radio TV show and still talking about it, and whether or not, he said he had never thought of it even. It wasn't planned. He never thought of it. He never practiced it. It was just pure instinct that he was going that fast, and he saw the defense start to let up a little, and he figured, yeah, I can make this a nice 30-yard run or go 58 to the house and really open this thing up. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. The call was incredible. It was so electric. I lost it. They were screaming all up and down. It was one of the most amazing plays I had ever seen, because no one's ever tried to do anything like that before. And I think it was genius.
I thought it was great. I thought like everything about it. I didn't notice it until the replay. I just, I'm watching the game, and it was this like Robert Griffin and the other dude, they're losing their minds. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, he did what? No. And then they show the replay, and I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. Right. And so I just thought it was awesome. But what do you guys think of the controversy though? Because a lot of people are angry. A lot of people are fake angry. A lot of people are just looking for something to talk about on a now Wednesday. What do you guys think about the controversy of it? Should quarterbacks be able to do a fake slide? Is that fair?
I don't have a good barometer for like whether or not people are actually angry or fake angry, but it just feels like the loudest people, which tends to be the case on social media, are angry. And I don't know. I feel like there's like a lot of like former players that are in the media now that are saying how they have a problem with it. And I kind of just feel like they're just like mad they didn't try it, like how can you be, it's not illegal. There's no rule that says you can't do that. I think the unfortunate thing is like, we have to have a reaction to everything nowadays. So there's going to be a rule now because this happened one time in the history of football. And so people are going to cancel Kenny Pickett's fake slide, and you're not going to be allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable, right? That there's going to be something, because there's already a lot built in to protect quarterbacks, maybe almost too much in football. And why let this go and there not be some rule, or else they're going to try to take advantage of it if there's no rule. But You're right. I think there's more people fake angry because former quarterbacks, Chris Sims, Carson Palmer, go suck a dick. Like you're just doing it because you're just angry and you need to be heard, because if you agreed with it, no one would be talking about you and no one would care. But that's the problem with today, right? Those are former quarterbacks. And the fact that they're so up in arms about it, and then there's local media doing it for the same reason, because if you agree with it, all right, cool. We don't get, and then that's it. But if you disagree with it, that's why it keeps being brought up and it keeps getting retweeted and keeps getting shared, because you are disagreeing with it and you are a former player, you're a media member, whatever it is. So I think it is. I think it's crazy, but it was a crazy, incredible play that, we'll likely have to have a rule around it in the future, unfortunately. But, can't just let the guy, we got to live in that moment for like a day, not even, before people started throwing flames. And you can't use the word cheat. There was no cheating involved. There's no rule. So obviously you can't cheat if there's no rule to be broken. So I'm trying not to get angry over the anger is what I'm trying to say.
I want there to be a sports science thing on this to find out like the torque that went on his knee and like the probability of doing that and not tearing your ACL, because what we should be talking about is how unbelievably athletic you need to be to think of doing that in the moment and then do it and pull it off and score a touchdown and like accelerate fast enough to still outrun everybody. And also like get to continue to play the game because you didn't tear anything. It's crazy. When you look at like the still frame images, just like the photos of the point where he kind of put his front foot into the ground and dragged his back foot, you could tear your ACL from dragging your back foot. I don't know if you know that. You could tear that one, or all of your body weight coming into your front leg. Man, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was, I think it was amazing. And I also don't believe that he didn't like think of that or hadn't tried that before. I also don't think that the team is as like surprised by it either. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's something you did one time in the top of your head. I refuse to believe that. And that's fine. I have no problem with it, because imagine somebody just does that in practice one day. You're like, what the fuck? What did he just do? Like, you know what I mean? Because think about it. In practice, you're already not going to hit him anyways, right? So like then he does that and you just kind of like he may have made someone else on the defense get hurt because he did that. Like I just thought the whole thing was fascinating. I loved it so much. But like, I understand why former defensive players are mad about it. Like, I get why Ryan Clark is mad about it. I don't understand why anyone else is mad about it. Because if you play defense on any level of football, I get why you're like a little peeved about it, because it kind of reminds me of like Patrick Mahomes does this tightrope thing on the sideline where he ends up getting like 4 extra yards all the time, because you can't breathe on him near the sideline. You're going to get a penalty, but he ends up getting first downs that way all the time. So it reminded me of that, but it's just like, those are the rules. Like, we're not going to hurt Patrick Mahomes. And that's why I don't think like that. I don't think there's going to be a rule that comes in, because I don't think you're still not going to hurt quarterbacks. Like, the quarterbacks are mobile now, and Chris Sims, that guys were slow. No, you were never running. Like, I don't stop talking. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I get why defensive players are mad about it, because that just turns into another thing that they have to like think about when they're playing or whatever. But anyone else mad about it? Radio hosts, like, I don't care what Tim Benz and Mark Madden have to say about that. Like, seriously. I don't know what sport Tim Benz ever played. And okay, Mark, yeah. So, respect what those guys do, but I'm not going to. I don't care what you think about a fake slide. You have nothing to say about that. There's nothing. Yeah. Like, you should just be entertained. So I'm always saying, it's entertaining.
That's what I've been trying to say too. Like, he made so the ACC championship game was the lowest rated of the Power 5 championship games. Like, only 2 million people watched it. But the game that everybody's talking about afterwards is that game because of that one play. And like, it's because it was fun. It wasn't Iowa doing dog shit on both sides of the ball for the entire game, right? Something crazy entertaining happened. And we have to like not cancel all of the fun things that happen in sports, because then like it's gonna suck to watch. And I think if you're mad, what you should be mad about is that the rule book in football has gotten so unbelievably hard to interpret that now defenders have to just stop playing when the offense is still playing. That's, I think, the problem, but is what it is.
Yeah. Amazing play. Shouts to Kenny Pickett. They're going to show that play a million times on Saturday. And I mean, you could argue, I don't know if Bryce Young has a better play than that. Like, I don't know. Like, if the Heisman's one-on-one play, he wins. So,
Right.
So, well, from that, let's go to this 12-team bracket. Let's throw it up. The college football playoff, if it expands, it looks like this is what it's going to look like. This is what it would look like if it started this year. Do you guys like this or no? Are you guys excited about would you want this?
Well, I already know that you wouldn't, Didi. So.
No, I don't want this. And there's reasons, but I'll let you guys go first.
Well, for almost every reason that people say this shouldn't happen is why I think it should. So this will be fun. First of all, the first 4 games are played on college campuses, which I think is awesome because college football in NFL stadiums sucks. Second, I can look at every one of these 4 brackets and like pretty realistically see the top seed, the team with the bye, not making the Final Four. Because like, I think Ole Miss in a shootout could outscore Alabama. I think Pitt could beat both Notre Dame and Cincinnati. Michigan State already beat Michigan. And like when Ohio State beats Utah, like, Ohio State is still really damn good with a lot of talented athletes. We just saw Georgia get their asses kicked. So I could see how this would all play out in a way that suggests, yeah, we should incorporate more teams because there's not only 4 that can win the national championship.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on the 12-team playoff, and obviously it seems inevitable, right? They've delayed the vote until sometime in December, but it just seems like it's going to be implemented. And yes, truly, as a Pitt fan, you look at this and you're like, hell yeah, we're in the Final Four. We have a good chance of getting into the Final Four in this particular scenario. But this would create a lot more interesting bowl games than what we have on slate. Like the New Year's 6 are great, but they don't necessarily mean anything. There's nothing to play for other than just winning the bowl game, which is great, but this adds a lot more value to these games. I think we have to do something with like the season though, because we're going to add 1, 2, 3. There's going to be 4 games to get to the championship. Seems crazy to me with the schedule they already have in place. And you can't shorten the regular season. It's 12 games. But I don't know how you do that. But if you go 12, you have to go this route. You have to have the buys. That's what makes it difficult for that first round team to make it. But to your point, Chris, in these scenarios, it seems like, yeah, a lot of these teams could be upset. And in a year where everybody other than Georgia has been like, maybe they could beat Georgia. Now, Alabama certainly just did, but I also don't think Georgia was giving it their all. Watch that game. I don't think they cared all that much. They're like, yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks anyways. So that's why in a year like this, it's like, wow, yeah, this is exciting because there's talent everywhere and there could certainly be some chaos. We see it in March Madness all the time. Chaos in college football would be great. So we don't see Alabama in the championship game every year. Clemson, obviously not in, but in the championship game every year. It's nice to have some fresh blood in Michigan and Georgia, and Cincinnati's getting their chance, but this certainly that makes things more exciting. And those other games besides the Final Four, more exciting.
Listen, I'm thinking about the kids here. Everything you say about making these games mean more has everything to do with fans, right? I'm thinking about the kids. Pitt, okay? You guys, Pitt. They have this amazing season. They win the ACC championship game. And then In this scenario, they end their season in December in Indiana. They lose, you end your season in Indiana, not in Atlanta, not at the Peach Bowl, in some awesome city where regardless if you win or lose, you're in an awesome city. You do the gift suite. You're happy, so happy that you guys won the ACC championship game. It's like you won something. This is just throwing you in a tournament, and it's like, all right, you lose. What? Like Oklahoma State, they get to go lose in Mississippi. They like you get to end your season in December, Utah and Ohio. Like what?
Didi,
No.
if you told any player on
No.
Pitt's team right now that they could choose between the Peach Bowl or the playoff, they would choose the playoff.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they
I
would.
refuse to believe they would. I
Because
refuse to believe they
you
would.
understand how many
I'm thinking about the
players,
kids.
how many players, like, because they don't make the playoff, just don't even play their bowl game. But if they were in the playoff, they would play. I don't believe that at all.
I see. I don't. It's overblown how many players don't play in the bowl games. Like it's overblown. Like there are a few amazing players who don't.
But
play in bowl
no
games.
players opt out of playoff games. Bryce Young is not opting out of his playoff game because he knows his draft stock is good.
I just think, I don't know. I just don't think that it should just turn into all of a sudden you do this amazing thing in the season and then your season, if you lose that first game, actually, yeah, if you lose that first game, it's like your season meant nothing. And that's what it will turn into. It will turn into your season meant nothing. Like you didn't play in a Super 6 game. You didn't play in like one of the Big 6 games. You didn't do that. It's like you just went to Notre Dame and lost, or you went to Columbus, Ohio and lost. And it's like going to the Sugar Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl or whatever the bowl is, it means something. It's not like you're going to, I'm not saying the Birmingham, whatever the fuck bowl matters, or whatever like West Virginia's playing in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. None of that matters. I'm talking about the games that actually matter, because I'm just thinking about West Virginia winning the Big East and going to the Orange Bowl. And that is, those times were awesome. And it wasn't just like, oh yeah, like, you could lose that game, you could go lose and, you had a shot at winning the championship, but really, you just lost and you had to go play in Kansas or some shit. And I'm like, I like bowl games. I just love this. I love bowl games. I don't think all these teams need to have a chance to win a championship. I'm just like, you had your shot. Don't lose to Western Michigan. You're in the conversation. Like, don't lose 2 games. You're in the conversation. Like, you have your shot. We have your tournament. It's called the season, and we had it.
Yeah,
we don't need another one.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either, though, because like you have your season, but then like at the end of the year, it's subject to what a group of people think. And like in this model, you can win your conference and automatically get in. So like you understand what the path is. It's not like we're Cincinnati and we hope at the end of the year, we've made this committee of people think we're good enough to put us in the Final Four. So I don't know, man. And like, I can guarantee 2 things. Michigan's not going to win the playoff. They're not going to win the national championship, but I guarantee you when they start their season next year, they're going to hang a banner that says they made the college football playoff. And I think that's where college football is going. Like that's the barometer. If you made the college football playoff, it's considered one of the very high achievements. I don't think there's any doubt.
It is, but that's because they won. They're in the top 4 and they're going to go play in the whatever bowl they're going to play in.
But
they're
that's what I'm
finishing
saying.
Their season in random college town.
Sure. But so like, in these situations, Utah hangs a banner that says we made the college football playoff.
People hang banners for making the NIT.
Well, if you go into Pitt's media guide, they're going to tell you how many times they played in the BBVA Who Gives a Shit Bowl. Okay. Like we recognize this stuff.
Didi, with what you said, I'm curious. I know we're looking at 12 here and 12 seems to be the likely scenario, but in your taking what you said in consideration, what about 8? And those first 4 are the Sugar Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl. Those are those major bowl games played on those sites. And then those semifinals are the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and then your championship. Is that a more ideal scenario for you? Does that kind of change your mind?
To me, that's more ideal. Like just having teams on random college campuses in December is awful. Like, just having to go play at Notre Dame in December sounds like the worst trip of all time. It just does. Like, I don't want to go to Ohio. I don't want to go to Mississippi. I don't want to go to Waco. Like, I don't want to go to any of those places.
You know what?
In December.
I will give you. If we just saw what happened on Monday Night Football with Buffalo in New England in that absolute joke of what they called a football game where Mac Jones passed the ball 3 times. If a playoff game was in that scenario, I'd be furious no matter who the team was. So I don't know how you get it. Yeah, you'd have to take it off of college campuses. I think college football games are way better on college football campuses, but you're right. You make a good point. If you're playing in December and January and anywhere north and all of a sudden weather plays that much of a factor and whether or not you make a playoff win.
Listen,
that could be upsetting.
If number 5 Minnesota is hosting number 12 Pitt, you should have had a higher seed so you didn't have to go play at Minnesota in December. That's part of it. That's all part of it. That's all part of it because, Pitt doesn't get to decide if the ACC puts them, I don't know, north in December at the end of the year. So it's part of it. You got to go play Rutgers in December. Nobody likes that. Penn State, it's cold there. It's part of football. It's how it works.
That's terrible. I just think the kids deserve more. They deserve better. That's all.
I like 8 too. For what it's worth, I like 8 too. I like an expansion of this because I kind of walked through at the beginning of this. I think there are more than 4 teams that could win the national championship. I don't think on most years everybody is invincible, and I think more football is better for me. So let's do it.
I want the BCS back. Give me 2 teams with the option of 3 on a good year. Like, that's all. Yeah. Give me that. What's Olivia think?
I don't know. She's just pressing her face up against the glass of the door right now. I think she thinks our entire discussion is we're making a mockery of college football.
That's fair.
Well, sports movies. Let's get to it. We have a sports movie, pick 3 here. Let's get to it. Since it is sports brunch, let's have some fun with some sports movies. All right. There's a lot of great ones here. Dan, go through them. Hit it.
Yeah, this is an incredible graphic, right? Because I think it's got some of the classics, but some of the newer age ones that you may not necessarily consider a sports movie, but they are. That's what makes this so unique and so great. So you only keep 3. There are 15 movies here. They are Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, The Waterboy, He Got Game, Love and Basketball, 42, The Sandlot, Moneyball, Coach Carter, Hoosiers, Rocky,
Mr. Carter,
Happy Gilmore, Dodgeball, Miracle, and White Men Can't Jump. Just an incredible collection of, yes, sports movies.
This is great. I like this because it lets you, sports movies is a genre, but within that genre, there's a lot of different, paths you can take. Serious, dramatic, comedy, romantic. There's a lot of different ways you can go.
There are 4 movies on here that I hate so much.
Wow. So maybe it's not that difficult for you.
So this is called You Can Keep Only 3, but Didi's going to go with You Can Hate Only 4. All right, Didi, which ones are there?
There are 15 movies on this list. So there's really only 4 that I'm talking about, like, if you ask me the worst movies of all time, I would put these 4 movies on there. But yeah, but this is a great list though, mainly because of that too. Because I know people love these movies. I just am like, not for me.
Well, then you've got to go first based on all that. You've got to tell us what 3 you are keeping and what, we got to know your hate list too.
See, this is hard though, because it's once you get to the good ones, once you get rid of those 4 bad ones, the rest of the list is great. Yeah. So
can I guess the bad ones for you, Didi? I feel like please. 3 of us know each other.
Let me get the whiteboard out.
Hit it.
I know The Sandlot is on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hoosiers is on there.
1000%.
Okay, so
That was
those are the two I knew for sure. I'm also going to guess that Adam Sandler's involved.
Yep.
Yeah, at least one.
Is he involved once or twice?
Once, not twice. Once.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Waterboy then.
You're wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, Happy Gilmore.
I actually love Waterboy,
Wow.
and I loved all the Brian Kelly Waterboy memes from this past week. They were all great.
I know we're not talking about
How's
that.
that not on the menu? My family.
My family. It's a great day to be a tiger. The hell are you doing?
I haven't won all my games yet.
Dude, it's gonna be funny when they go like 8-4 and they're ready to fire him down there.
Wait,
Like,
did you
it's
guys
just
see
hilarious?
Mario Cristobal was hired at Miami and he spoke in Spanish and somebody took the Spanish speaking clip and was like, if Brian Kelly got hired at Miami speaking in too good. Okay, so we know it's The Sandlot. We know it's Happy Gilmore and Hoosiers. What's the fourth one?
Oh, Miracle. Can't stand it.
Oh,
Trash.
wow.
That's a gut punch.
Yeah. All right.
Those
So
are
what
the
do you
ones I
like?
hate.
What are you keeping? If you're only getting 3 out of this, we know which 4 you have no problem with
Okay,
removing. But
the third one's tough, but here's the thing. All right, Rocky, keeping it. Rocky, everything. Any of the Rocky movies except 5 could have been on here, and it's getting picked. Like even Rocky Balboa, the 6th Rocky, all the Creeds. I want all the Rocky. All right, Love and Basketball has to stay. Love and Basketball, and then it gets tough because I could go other ways. White Men Can't Jump. Here's why. There is a scene with Rosie Perez in it. And when I was too young to watch this movie, I didn't know what sex was, but I knew that she had something to do with it. And I wanted to know about it because that scene is life-changing. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go check out White Men Can't Jump because Rosie Perez, anytime I see her on television, I'm like, Rosie Perez, man. First crush.
after that,
That's it right there. So White Men Can't Jump, Rocky, Love and Basketball. Picking those 3. It's a tough one. I could go a couple other ways, but those 3.
wow. For me, I'm probably gonna make TV mad with some of my picks. Then
It's fine. Listen,
yeah,
you know,
It's
Yeah.
what you're
It's keeping 3 for me.
watching.
it's
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
watching.
not what Dee Dee and I are watching together on a deserted island. That's not the list.
That's Sister Act too. We
Yeah.
already know that. Like,
we already know that.
we already know that. Like,
Yeah.
True. That's true. Sister Act 2 and Drumline.
and then 8 Mile. Like, what are
Right.
we?
Yeah, 8 Mile,
yeah.
throw that
It's
in
no
there.
longer a
Hey,
deserted
can I
island.
guys
Like,
come to your deserted island with you? That's
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So for me, I have to start with Happy Gilmore. I do. I absolutely love that's like funny Adam Sandler, not really what he's doing now, but that's like OG funny Adam Sandler. There's like a connection with that movie that I have with my now fiance. So there's like a little bit of a moment there with it. But to me, it's always, there's still some stuff I just crack up in that movie. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No. I can't lose that movie. Happy Gilmore. Number 2 is 42. Amazing movie. It made me think of 61 just because of the number, which is also a very underrated movie and could probably be on this list, but 42, the Jackie Robinson story. How could you not? 42. And then I'm going to go with this third one was hard, but I'm going Miracle. I am. That moment in time in history to be able to kind of pull back the curtain and be able to relive that story, since there wasn't, the cameras weren't around tracking and following that team, a bunch of college kids, to be able to kind of relive that story. And I think the acting in it was pretty phenomenal. So I think I'd have to go Miracle.
Not mad at it.
Chris, what do you got? Those are our 3 for each now. What do you got in your list?
I have Miracle on mine as well. That's one of my 3. Miracle is, I've watched quite a few. I mean, I guess there's not a ton of hockey movies, but I feel like I've watched most of them. And it's hard, I think, to capture the gameplay and like the speed of hockey and the hits and the goals and like the technique of playing the game. And I feel like Miracle did it really, really well. And obviously it's a, historic moment in time. So I have Miracle. I did want to get a comedy on here. And as a former dodgeball player, I had to put Dodgeball on here. Dodgeball to me, I did play collegiate dodgeball. It is, it's kind of a stretch to say that it's a sports movie, but it has some of just like the best one-liners of all time. That's back when Vince Vaughn was in like a series of movies where he knocked it out of the park, right? Like Wedding Crashers, Dodgeball. I can't remember if it came before or after that, but he had a few movies there where it was like almost everything he was in, you left the movie theater with like 5 lines that you were talking about for months. And then my last one is Friday Night Lights, because Friday Night Lights is the best football movie ever made. Come at me. I don't care. You're wrong. Friday Night Lights is the best football movie ever made. And it's always on my list to watch, kind of like when training camp starts in the summer to get amped up for football. Man, it's so good. So those are my 3: Friday Night Lights, Miracle, and Dodgeball. And I'll admit, there are quite a few on here that I've never seen. I have not seen He Got Game. I have sadly not seen 42. I've not seen Moneyball. And I think that's it.
He Got Game's good to watch. It's an interesting rewatch. The world has changed a lot. Moneyball. Moneyball is just boring to me. I don't hate it. I get what it does. I get the reason why they made the movie, but I've seen it twice and I thought it was boring. I thought it was Oscar season. I tried so hard to like it, and I just couldn't.
I think the reason it was interesting for me, and I've only seen it once, was because of like I feel like Jonah Hill's first opportunity where he really changed and became a serious actor. And because of that, it made it more fascinating. If it was somebody else, maybe not as much. And again, I've only watched it that one time, but I think that was part of the fascination for me. He was like this guy that was a joke basically in all these movies became a serious actor all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah. And then he was in Wolf of Wall Street. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's one movie on here that I'm kind of embarrassed that I've never seen. Can you take a guess?
Remember the Titans.
No.
That was
close. That was close on my list.
TV like 17 times a month.
So pretty big. Pretty. Hoosiers.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, really? You guys are in the club? We're on an island together.
No, I've seen it. I bet it's, I don't know. It was probably
everybody talks about it though, right? It's like, oh, it's so good, so good. Is it just old people that say that? I don't know.
It was probably a lot cooler in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate it. I know Didi hates it. I think it's fine, but it's not like go out of your way to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay.
The reason people like Hoosiers is because basically every movie on this list is structured after Hoosiers. Because Hoosiers was like the sports movie that gave you the like same arc that every sports movie kind of gives you, whether, it's like all the stories are different, but kind of the way they move is exactly the same. Hoosiers is the first one that like did that. It's like the blueprint for it.
Yeah.
So like I get that part of Hoosiers. It's just like I'm not into any of the rest of it.
Makes sense. Good. I don't feel bad.
But yeah. But I mean, if you watch it, like, I mean, it's a sports movie. If you're like bored at, I don't know, you can't sleep at 3 a.m., turn on Hoosiers.
Final thought. I would like to sub in The Big Green for Sandlot.
See, that changes everything.
Should we redo this segment?
Like there were a couple like because you like Friday Lights the movie. I love the TV show. The movie's fine. I think the football play in that movie is amazing. I don't know how they shot that, and I don't think it's ever been shot better in the movie about football. So, but we have a big sports movie coming up though. guys, comes out on Christmas Day. The Kurt Warner movie.
Oh gosh.
Hey, you know what? We ripped that thing to shreds, and like I've seen some because I think didn't we see it was like a behind the scenes like making of, and then like now that I've seen some of the previews, I still think it looks kind of doofy, but like not as doofy as that behind the scenes thing looked. It looked awful when I watched that.
If we had to watch one, would you rather watch that or something we haven't seen a preview for yet is the Sean Payton movie that has to do with when he was suspended for a year. You both apparently don't know about this. It's a movie about the year where he was suspended. And I kid you not, he is being played by Kevin James.
I'm in. Sign me up.
Now you want that all of a sudden?
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm in.
Kevin they both James could be hot disasters, I think. But yeah.
What on earth? How is there any resemblance there at all? I know it's all about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's got to be losing a ton of weight for that. I just don't, and I don't know, but it's in production.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
There you go. Something to look forward to.
Watch the hell out of that. Wow. Boys, I guess let's get into what we're listening to. We've been going for a minute. Let's get to what we're listening to this week. Dan, get us started. What are you listening to, man?
So I'm going completely off the wall. This is very random of me this week, but
churches.
There wasn't a ton of great new music out this week. It was kind of a letdown coming off of Thanksgiving. Nothing super exciting. But fortunately, we're in the middle of kind of watching this series on Netflix called This Is Pop. If you are into music at all, I encourage you, watch each of them. They each gonna go through a moment, a group, an artist in history that influences pop somehow, some way. It's very fascinating. I'm obsessed with it. Just recently watched the one called The Boyz II Men Effect, and I was very intrigued about it, and just like makes you really reappreciate what those dudes did and what they sounded like and the just incredible music that they created. So I'm going all Boyz II Men this week on the playlist, starting with End of the Road. After Motown Philly, this was their next huge hit, right? It's a song that Babyface had. He called their manager. He's like, got to get your boys in here and sing this song. And then he's like, all right, cool. Get them in there, record it. And then their manager's trying to call his boss and be like, hey man, we got this song. I want you to listen to it. And he kind of like brushed him off. They released it anyways. It becomes huge, takes off. The last like 25 seconds where they kind of sing a cappella and they're just like clapping literally gives chills down my spine every time I listen to it. It's like my favorite 30 seconds of music, like piece of music, just that 30 seconds I absolutely love. It gives me chills. So Boyz II Men, End of the Road.
The This Is Pop series is amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
It's amazing. Like, Chris, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Yeah, just a handful of episodes, but it's
on
really
Netflix.
Netflix
on Netflix. Yeah,
All
This Is Pop.
Because there's one about the auto-tune in T-Pain.
Oh,
and that
boy.
one's super good too.
Yes.
But yeah, those two episodes, if you're gonna watch, they're great, and they're just an hour, right? Maybe
they're like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're not even long. It's just, but the Boyz II Men effect is wild because you just like remember how big they were, and then it's like gone.
They were
and
gone
it
just
kind of tells you
Yeah.
why. Like, so it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, what are you listening to?
Yeah, speaking of which, they were on a Christmas episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So 'tis the season. Check that out.
Baptism.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mxpx is one of my longtime favorite pop punk bands. They put out a live album called Southbound to San Antonio. And, if you're kind of getting into the new wave of pop punk and you want to know where a lot of the sound is that you're hearing, where that's coming from, I mean, Mxpx are kind of like the godfathers of pop punk. They're unbelievable. They continue to do it well to this day. And you should listen to this album because it as a live band, as a live pop punk band, I don't know that anybody else's music is more on point in a live setting, like from vocals to guitar to bass to drums, everything being in concert together, alignment, timing, and again, vocals. I mean, the vocals are just so good live for Mxpx. I would recommend you check it out. I'm going to put Tomorrow's Another Day on the playlist, but if you listen to that and you like that, definitely listen to the rest of the album because they are one of my favorites of all time.
Nice. All right. Well, speaking of documentaries, Dan mentioned one. Kenny G has a documentary on HBO Max.
Let's
go.
It is called You're Listening to Kenny G. And it is amazing. It reminded me, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but listen, it's the Brunch Breakdown, so you guys will feel me. I don't care about anybody else. It reminded me of how I felt when we were watching the OJ show and like the OJ documentary, because Kenny G is something that I knew. My parents listened to a lot of Kenny G. They went to his concerts. His Christmas album is probably playing at my house right now. Like, but I didn't, but you know what I mean? I was too young to know the height of Kenny G and how big that actually was. Kenny G sold 14 million records of instrumental music in 1992. Like, wild stuff.
Yeah.
And it just goes in the documentary, just goes through like, you know, his life, how he grew up, and just his height, and just how his impact on music has just like, you know, how he completely created a format. The smooth jazz format didn't exist before Kenny G. I had no idea that was a thing. Like, he created radio stations, like just wild, the effect of Kenny G and he had on music and stuff. And all the people who hate Kenny G and make fun of Kenny G, that's all in there too. It's amazing. HBO Max is a 14-day free trial. I have HBO Max, so I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. Then sign up, then cancel it if you want, whatever. Just watch the doc. It's fascinating. Putting Songbird, Kenny G's huge hit. Songbird's going on the playlist. Shouts to Kenny G, the GOAT. Like, after watching that, I'm like, Kenny G's the god.
So your to-do list from Didi is 1, listen to Kenny G, 2, get HBO Max, and 3, encourage your children to participate in band. Pick up a saxophone.
Dude,
yes.
I did. Kenny G made me do that for a year. Like, I joined, I was in the band for a year. That was it. Because I didn't sound like Kenny G. So I was like, this is taking a little bit. That's another thing. Dude practices the saxophone 3 hours a day, every single day. He's done it since high school.
It's one hell of an embouchure.
Shit's
wild. Right. That's awesome. I'm definitely checking that out. Dude, same story with me, with my parents. Kenny G. Hated him, hated the sound, but now I'm a stan. I'm all for it. I love Kenny G. Yeah, I'm there.
It's incredible.
Well, let's keep with that theme.
More
Kenny G, smooth jazz, right? It's gonna get you in the mood a little bit. Going back, Boyz II Men, I'll Make Love to You, of course, off their huge album 2. Another chart-topping smash. We just don't get like vocal performances like this anymore, right? We get it from Adele, and that's it. But the harmonies that these guys were able to do together are literally second to none. And so, 'Tis the Season, you get Cozy by the Fire, throw on some Kenny G, then throw on a little Boyz II Men, I'll Make Love to You, and you're welcome.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's beautiful. And you're listening to the Brunch Breakdown.
This week's playlist is going to set a vibe.
Yes, it is.
So the next artist I want to put on the playlist is Aries, and I've put Aries on the playlist a few times in the past. Like, he has that, I think, that Roxanne song, right? And then Santa Monica is a song I really love. He put out a new album recently. I don't know exactly what, I'm probably going to put a few songs from it on the playlist because there's a lot of really good ones. His album is called Believe in Me, Who Believes in You. The song One Punch is really good. Kids on Molly's really good. I might throw another one or two on there. But it's I don't even know how I think the Sounds of Brunch sent me to this guy, and I really, really have enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoy it too.
Nice. Well, I am going to throw on the playlist Snail Mail Valentine, because we are in the middle of end of year list season. So I love end of year lists because I can't listen to all the music or watch all the movies or TV shows or whatever. So like stuff that I watch or listen to in the future, it's because of some list. I'll be like, oh, read the write up. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. So Snail Mail, found that from there. Song called Valentine. It's the first song on the album called Valentine, and it is incredible. Like, it goes 8 million different places, and I am just obsessed with the song. So check it out. Snail Mail Valentine.
Nice. I love it.
You had the look on your face, Dan, that you had already put it on, and I was just like staring at your face like, damn it. Dan's about to fucking smoke me for this.
No, you're clear. You're clear there.
What you are listening to.
Last one for me, keeping it Boyz II Men. I know everybody's heard these songs before, but literally just, all Boyz II Men this week. It is. There's nothing else good came out. I know people have heard these songs before, but just trust me and listen to them again, appreciate them again. Of course, the last one has to be Motown Philly. How could you not put this on? This was their first song. It was a huge, huge hit. Lyrically, it really makes no sense why this song is so popular. It's like, and all the Philly steaks you can have. Like, what? How is this on the radio? But the song is just so good. You don't care what they're saying. If you really think about it, like, they're like calling their shot and like telling you their story. And you're not, but like the song is that damn good. You can't help but love it. Motown Philly. It's Boyz II Men week on the playlist. I hope everybody enjoys.
It's that beat, man.
Yeah. Back in school, we used to dream about this every like.
Gonna mash up with Kenny G on that song. That would be dope.
I mean, The Weeknd did it this year, and it was amazing.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
He's the one playing the sax on Friday night.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. I have to finish it with something Pitt. So the third down song for Pitt all year has been Mo Bamba. So I'm putting Mo Bamba on the playlist, baby, because Pitt is ACC champs.
Shouts to Mo Bamba. Last I heard of Mo Bamba, he was trying to get into the G League. The NBA G League.
Well, so. Mo Bamba and Sheck West, we need to put like a missing person notice out, because I don't know what either of those two guys are doing right now. Have you listened to any of Sheck West's other songs?
Oh yeah, dude.
It's not
Some
good.
of it's good. Kyrie. That's my favorite.
Okay, so his songs named after NBA players are good, and the rest of them aren't any good.
No. But okay. Kyrie is great. Kyrie is a jam. Right. Love Kyrie. All right. My last one here is a new song, Justin Bieber and Juice WRLD. And this just made me sad this week. Wandered to LA, and it's Juice WRLD, who I think his passing was like a year ago, like Monday, or a year ago, Tuesday, or 2 years ago, Monday, 2 years, Tuesday.
Right.
Anyways, Wandered to LA, Tim and Justin Bieber. I don't know when this song was made, if it was made before he died or if it was made after. I don't know. All I know is it's great. And it just makes me just so bummed out. But it also makes me happy because the song's great, because Juice WRLD was a great gift that we got for like a couple years. So anyways, Wandered to LA, Juice WRLD, Justin Bieber. It's a weird way to talk about a song, but it just makes me feel like, oh, this song's great. And then it's like, oh, damn it. But yeah, Juice WRLD, Justin Bieber, Wandered to LA.
Pretty emotional playlist this week.
It's up and down. It's up and down. Well, boys, any final thoughts today on the brunch breakdown?
I'm going to predict that I don't cry at all the rest of this calendar year. That's 3 weeks.
That seems reasonable. Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm just excited for the brunchies next week. We've got a lot of awards to give out, and it's one of our favorites. So certainly have everybody stay tuned and join us back here next week for what will be a unforgettable episode, I'm sure.
Yes.
There are bound to be t-shirts to be made based on some things we say.
I can't wait. Brunchies next week. We're out. Peace.